Sunstein is at it again. Remember, he's the White House Office of Information and Regulation. So he's the regulatory czar. He's the guy who's coming up with all the new framework, all the new systems, all the new healthcare, everything else. He's the man behind the curtain. He is an amazing individual who loves progressivism and nudging you into choices. Now, the first way, the easy way to nudge people into choices is to take their carrots and put the carrots in front of the French fries. That's the first thing. But also to change the language, because remember, he's in the Office of Information. Has anybody noticed, if you go to FEMA and you look at any of the releases from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, if you go and you look at any of the press releases, you will notice that the word government, under the direction, I'm quoting, under the direction of President Obama and Secretary Janet Napolitano, the entire, not government, the entire federal family is leaning forward to support our state, tribal, and territorial partners along the East Coast.
Wait, did they really use the term leaning forward?
Mm-hmm.
Did that come directly from the official government news agency, MSNBC?
I'm not really sure.
That's great.
Under the direction of President Obama and Secretary Janet Napolitano, the entire federal family. FEMA is no longer known as a government agency. It is part of the federal family that is, listen to this, that is leaning forward to support our state, our tribal, and territorial partners in the East Coast, along the East Coast. Government has nearly been banished everywhere on the FEMA site. FEMA, instead of referring to federal, state, and local partners, not government, partners, and offices, and personnel, family, your family when you do get together. And that's the best image that you could possibly conjure up. Family also is more like, in this particular case, so I got a deal for you, huh? I tell you what, you come to me with your little hurricane thing on the day of my daughter's wedding. I'll help you out. The federal family is committed to providing the necessary resources to comfort every person and family devastated by this disaster. I'm sorry, the federal family is committed in providing the necessary resources to comfort every family? What, are they going to come over and hold us for a while? Federal family. Now, here's something else. The U.S. Labor Department, and I guarantee you this has Cass Sunstein's fingerprints all over it again, because remember, he's our regulation czar. What they do with the regulation czar is they say, okay, what do we really want society to look like? The regulation czar is the guy who shapes that society. You know, when Mussolini or Stalin wanted to get something done, they did it through regulation. When the Germans wanted to do it, they did it through regulation. You know, first it was, okay, the Jews can only shop at this time. All right, well, now they can only shop at this time, but in these markets. Then they can't have any cars. They can only have bikes. Then they can't be outside certain times. It's all regulation. And it's all done in incremental steps to make you say, oh, well, it's just this. This will pass. It'll get better. It's just this. Well, here's the latest. They've been trying to work on our farms for quite some time. We want to talk a little bit about Agenda 21. If you don't know what Agenda 21 is, you better look it up. But they've been trying to federalize our farms. Remember, they're just picking on the Amish. Remember, they're going after the farmlands in the Amish. Oh, in Houston, no, don't worry about it. All they're doing is they're just telling that person that they can't sell food to their friends. Yeah, we don't know where that food has really come from. It's come from the ground, in a farm that's been here forever. Now the U.S. Labor Department has proposed to increase, for the first time in 40 years, the list of jobs too hazardous for 15-year-olds on the farm. Under the proposed changes, kids can no longer do things like drive tractors. They can no longer work in tobacco fields because, well, workers in tobacco fields can be exposed to unsafe levels of nicotine. Agricultural interest groups don't want federal regulators to make it harder for them to recruit and train the next generation of farmers. But child safety advocates, another special interest group, want Washington to get tougher on current labor law, which allows 16-year-olds to perform jobs that regulators now seem to think that are just too dangerous, such as handling dynamite, chainsaws, and pesticides. I got news for you. If the kids are using dynamite and they're sticking it in the, in a tree stump, at 16 years old, if you grew up on a farm, you probably know how to do that. If do we have an epidemic of people being blown up by dynamite? I mean, I haven't heard that. I haven't read that anywhere. I would think that would make the news, the national news, especially little children being blown up by dynamite because their farmer down the street or their farmer daddy said, hey, take this dynamite and blow up these stumps. You'd think that would make the news. They're also not allowed to use chainsaws and pesticides. I got news for you. George Washington was out surveying land and saying, this is a good place to build a fort right here. What do they call this, Pittsburgh? At 16 years old. Out by himself.
Not with a chainsaw. Not with a chainsaw.
You're right. Agenda 21 is alive and well, and they are slowly regulating our farms out of business. You know, the average farmer is about, 63 years old? The average age of a farmer? If we don't get people in FFA, if we don't get future farmers, we're in trouble. Okay, when we come back here in just a second, I want to tell you about the new solar plant that, can you give me the cut 633 here? This is fantastic. President Obama was right yet again when he said this.
It's here that companies like Solyndra are leading the way toward a brighter and more prosperous future.
Yes.
The true engine of economic growth will always be companies like Solyndra.
Oh.
Just went out of business.
No, he was right. His economic engine will always be companies like Solyndra.
It's true. That's true.
He said, I agree with him again. There he is. We'll tell you about the story of Solyndra and Gibson Guitar coming up in just a second. There's an update on this that you won't believe. All right. I want to tell you two stories, and they both revolve around green energy. First one is Solyndra. Solyndra is the company, the solar panel company that the president said this about.
It's here that companies like Solyndra are leading the way toward a brighter and more prosperous future. The true engine of economic growth will always be companies like Solyndra.
So that was, I think, May of 2010, a little over a year ago. You're in, 3 months?
They received $535 million, $500 million in your money.
Yeah, and 1 year and 3 months later, bankrupt. Done. Bye-bye. All their employers are now looking for jobs. This was the future of the solar panel industry. And they can't compete with China.
I mean, I don't even understand that. If you have $539 million, even if you sell 0 solar panels, how do you go out of business?
Yeah, you'd think you'd be okay.
I mean, that's, honestly, obviously you eventually have to pay the money back, but how are you going bankrupt? I mean, that is the sign of a unhealthy industry.
Somebody should look at, absolutely, and especially when you're in competition with China. You can't compete against China. They're not going to abide by any of the regulations for the environment or anything else. They will, it doesn't matter if you make them with radiated isotopes. You sit there, they'll have 4-year-old children do it, and they'll say, what? No, they're little babies. That's why they don't have any hair. They don't care. They don't care. And you'll never be able to compete against China, especially on the solar panel industry. You won't be able to do it. Of course they go out of business. Leading the way, my butt. Okay, so now 535. Let me ask you this: do you think there'll be an investigation on corruption, or what this business did, or how it got its money? You think anybody will say anything about it?
Nope.
Go ahead.
I bet a Daryl Issa or something. I bet somebody will.
Yeah. Do you know the what was the name of the company? Do you remember? We talked about it on Fox about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Remember we had the person from the solar panel company and their wife either ran the solar power company
Yes.
or was part of the EPA or something. You remember that?
Yes, you're definitely right. And let me track that story down. That was a fantastic story.
Yeah, find out if they're part of Solyndra. Or another one of these companies that got, we know that they got money. Now, is it one of these companies that went out of business? I'd like to see, because there's an awful lot of these solar panel companies that took all this money. What happened to all that money? Where did it go? In Seattle, we told you about this. The Seattle Green Jobs Program. $20 million grant. They said they were going to create 2,000 green jobs, weatherizing 2,000 homes. So far, they have weatherized 3 homes and created 14 jobs, which are not blue-collar green jobs that people have been training for. So don't worry about that. So what have they done? Since that story broke, what have they done? Well, Cascadia Consulting Group provides sustainability and environmental consulting services to governments, utilities, businesses, and nonprofit organizations. Our mission is to make real positive difference for our clients and the environment by delivering quality, objectivity, and results. We are dedicated to pioneering a sustainable future by helping clients minimize waste, reduce their environmental footprint, blah, blah, blah. With offices in Seattle and San Jose, their staff of 35 specializes in recycling and outreach and education, blah, blah, blah. Cascadia hires individuals who value a collaborative, fast-paced work environment, who can think creatively and communicate. They are looking to hire a part-time associate for the Seattle office to provide marketing and media relations capabilities for City of Seattle's Community PowerWorks program. So what is this? They're looking for a marketing person to help market. This is how they're going to fix it. They were exposed, $20 million gone. Supposed to create 2,000 jobs, gone. Weatherize 2,000 homes, gone, with an exception of 3 homes. And they created 14 jobs. So what do they decide to do? Hire a PR person. No, don't fix it. Hire a PR person. Don't close it down. Hire a PR person. Is it just me? But I really don't think that people are this stupid. I thought about this morning. Pat, give me hope here. People are not this stupid, are they?
Well, some are. Yeah, I think some are clearly that stupid. They're just going to buy this. How many people were that stupid with the healthcare situation? What was it? 68% of Americans didn't want the healthcare system, and they told America, well, we just haven't explained it to you well enough. They're doing the same thing with this, and many will buy it. Many will say, well, yeah, okay,
but 68%
14 jobs is pretty good.
But 68% of the people didn't buy it.
Yeah, most Americans, I think, are not that stupid. I think the vast majority of Americans aren't.
My concern is that people tune out and they say, you know what, there's nothing I can do about it. That's what they want you to do. Why do you think the president has just steamrolled people and not paid attention to anybody? He wants to discourage you. He wants you to believe that you have no voice, you have no place. That's why they're beating on you all the time. You do have a place, you do have a voice, and there's a way to effectively use that voice. We have to just link arms and stand together. And we have to declare our own personal responsibility as a group. When we do that, we change the world. Read about it at glennbeck.com. Link onto personal responsibility, our rights and responsibilities. And then spread the word. A movement has begun.